today is the International Day of Solidarity with the people of Palestine. This day, in fact, marked each and every year by the United Nations. It has a poignancy this year because it comes after the bombardment of Gaza, after the attack by Hamas prompted that, and we are now 6 days into the truce. Israel calling it a humanitarian pause. At least some aid has gone in. Some hostages have been released from Gaza in exchange for mostly women and teenage prisoners being held in Israeli prisons. Khayelihle Khumalo in Johannesburg, if you can hear me, Kaya, tell us about the turnout today and the sentiments being expressed.
Well, that's right, Francis. It's a very sizable number of demonstrators who have come out to pledge solidarity with Palestine, especially on such a very significant day that is recognized internationally by the United Nations, where the Palestinians are calling for self-determination, but also for their own statehood, especially this year in light of the very unfortunate events that we have seen in Gaza Strip, albeit there's a pause when it comes to the Israeli military operations. But Francis, let's hear from some of the demonstrators here. Let's hear from Imran from Al-Jamaa. So Imran, you were talking to us about the importance of today. Tell us about the significance of today and just the message that you're conveying.
Yes. It's a very simple message. I think it's a right to life mainly before everything else. So the American government, the UK government and Israeli government, including the international crime courts, have failed humanity at large. It is an indictment in terms of not protecting human lives. If we look at what's happening across the world, the stand is clearly there that we need to protect human lives. And in terms of what's taking place presently, there's just absolutely no kindness or some kind of an understanding by the ICC or the UK government and the UN government to ensure that justice prevails, because truth shall always prevail over falsehood. And we've noticed over the years what has happened. The genocide has continued for literally 75 years and nothing has been done. And this is an indictment on America, on UK, as well as Israel. And more so with the international criminal courts that has done nothing to ensure that justice prevails. It's simple. The right and dignity to life is everybody's right throughout the world. And that's all we're asking for. That is the awareness. And if we don't protect it, and if the superpowers cannot do it now, they never will protect lives in the near future, because this life has become one of wealth. At Gaza, we know that there is gas pipelines there. And those pipelines are the reason why Israel wants to bombard the innocent Gazans that are presently staying there. They don't have water, they don't have food, they are oppressed. They've been oppressed for the last many years, the women and children, and they are really in an open-air prison. So in terms of what's happening across the world, we're calling for justice, a simple calling for justice, the right to human life, to ensure truth prevails over falsehood, to ensure that the international criminal courts ensure that they have the teeth to ensure that justice is met. Up until now, for 75 years, this has not been met out. It's a real indictment across the world to see what is happening in terms of the genocide, in terms of the oppression. This is where we are, and this is our stand.
Okay, and maybe just briefly, Imran, we saw a very unprecedented decision in South Africa where the parliament passed a motion calling for the country to cut off diplomatic ties with Israel and also the embassy to be shut down, but obviously pending the issue of the peace talk and stuff. Do you think the South African government should go ahead with that decision?
Absolutely, I agree with you. It should take its strong stance. We just don't want words like has happened for the 75 years. We need the Israeli embassy expelled. We need closed down, and we need the Israeli ambassador expelled from South Africa. We have to take some hard stances in order to ensure the dignity and right of life. And I totally agree that we cannot just have, a verbal expressions and motions being passed in Parliament, we need these to be implemented. And the easiest way to implement them is to boycott all the Israeli products, to ensure that the Israeli ambassador is expelled from South Africa, to ensure that the Israeli embassy is closed, period.
All right, Mr. Imran, thank you so much indeed for your time. Squeezing one more guest, Francis, we'll keep it very short. It's Kibusa, one of the trade unions here. So, Mr. Mabetli, once again, a very quite pressing issue. Tell us about your expectations once this demonstration is done and dusted. Just quickly.
Well, we want Israeli ambassador to go. We want South Africa to cut ties with Israeli regime, as well as all the cooperations that are, of course, belonging to Zionist, companies in South Africa must be expropriated. We want every Zionist mercenary in this country who participate in a genocide of the Gazan people to be prosecuted as a mercenary in terms of the law in this country. We've got to understand what is happening in Gaza is a genocide, and every report indicates that. We have a situation wherein, according to just United Nations, right? Even at the height of the war in Iraq in 2003, only 12,000 people were killed, right? In Gaza at the moment, about 15,000 people are dead as we are speaking. 6,000 of them are children. And in a situation where all major conflicts last year only killed about 3,000 children. That is what we are having in Gaza. It's a situation that no government can describe in a way that South African government does without taking decisive actions that we are demanding.
All right, sir, thank you so much. In the interest of time, we're going to leave it there. So, Francis, those are the sentiments here from the Constitution Hill. This is a culmination point of this demonstration that started in Newtown.